This is Beyond the Stand, a podcast exploring the evolving voices, values, and practices in music education. I'm your host, Jeremy Bryant, a high school popular music educator and Master of Music in Music Education candidate at Belmont University. This podcast is part of my personal and professional journey to answer one big question: how can we provide excellent, rigorous, and relevant music education through the lens of popular music? In each episode, I speak with educators, students, and leaders who are shaping what music education looks like today and what it can be tomorrow. Whether you're rooted in traditional ensembles, teaching modern band, or somewhere in between, you're invited to this conversation. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Stand. I'm Jeremy Bryant, and you're listening to part 2 of our conversation with Michael Parsons from Briarcrest Christian School. Stephen Potasic and Theo Metz were unable to join us for this part of the conversation as they had to present a session at the APME conference. I was in attendance at this conference, and in a future episode, I will debrief the sessions that I attended. The conference was a great experience, and I can't wait to share that information. But in our last episode, we explored why these educators believe popular music belongs in the classroom. Today, we turn to the how. How do we make it work logistically, pedagogically, and professionally? So, Michael, let's say a teacher is just getting started. Maybe they've taught band or choir for years, but want to start something more contemporary. Where should they begin?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I would say get to know your students, get to know the culture of your particular school, and just discover what piques their interest, what things are they, what feels organic with your particular students. So for me, it was rock music. I had a bunch of kids that they wanted to play, blues. They wanted to play rock. They wanted to express themselves in a way that our concert band, it just wasn't. And that's worked at Briarcrest. It's been very sort of organic, and I even say it's kind of like you could plant like an acorn in Memphis, and it'll grow, and you don't have to do anything. It'll be an oak tree. If you try to plant a banana tree, you're going to have to do a whole lot of things to keep that thing alive because it's not indigenous to this particular.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah. So getting, just figuring out like what inspires your particular students. So I was speaking with an educator yesterday who lives in California, and she's from Memphis, but her students love mariachi. And she doesn't come from that tradition at all. No, she's she really had to sort of learn the styles, the unique nuances of that particular genre, because that's what her students loved. And so instead of taking this approach of you will become who I am, it's sort of this dynamic idea of I will become what you need so that you can experience music in a way that will make life better for you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I would say just some technical things. There's a really great book that my friend Steve Hawley wrote. It's some people refer to it as like the Bible for teaching popular music. It's a textbook that essentially gives you everything that you need from a pedagogical standpoint, from a curriculum standpoint, to get a popular music ensemble running up and running, and then develop that. Lucy Green is another great educator. She's from the UK. She wrote a book, How Popular Musicians Learn. It's a great resource. Check that out. And then I don't know, just APME, the Association for Popular Music Education, is a really incredible organization that sort of supports all educators who are interested in providing unique opportunities that their students could be inspired by. So those are some things.
Great. Now, you're also teaching at the University of Memphis, Sound Fusion, which is their popular music ensemble.
Yeah.
So from a higher ed perspective, how are you preparing pre-service teachers or young professionals to work with modern tools, genres, and creative processes?
Yeah, so with Sound Fusion, this is a really special group. So this is our flagship commercial music ensemble here at the University of Memphis, and we sort of function as musical ambassadors for the university. So we perform all over Memphis, corporate events and university events, and for high schools for recruitment purpose. And so with this group, these are musicians that are not necessarily going into education. Some of them are not even music majors.
Okay.
So for those that are music educators, the things that they're learning in Sound Fusion, they absolutely can instinctively apply into the classroom. Quite honestly, Sound Fusion is what prepared me for my job at Briarcrest. I was a student in Sound Fusion in the early 2000s and had no real experience playing in a commercial music group until Sound Fusion. And you learn things, just basic things like how to wrap a cable, which I know that sounds...
I have a cable wrapping session in my classes too.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that would... where'd that come from, wrapping cables? It's such an important thing when you're going to set up even just like a keyboard or a guitar or whatever at a gig. Just knowing how to wrap it properly so you're not dealing with a tangled wad of mess. Things like that. Things like writing charts. How to speak the language. That was the other thing too. I realized early on was my classical training was absolutely prepared me for Sound Fusion, but I had to learn a whole nother language. I didn't know what comping was.
Yeah.
They were talking about comping. I was like, what is that? So for my Sound Fusion students who are going to be educators, everything we do is sort of baked into the process, and they come out fully ready to start their own little mini Sound Fusion.
Yeah.
So
it's great. And thinking about these things, we've talked in a previous episode about student agency. But what does, we are an education environment. So what does curriculum look like? How do you balance foundational music skills with songwriting, technology, or performance?
Yeah. So I work at a school that allows me, speaking of high agency, they give me the freedom to create my own curriculum. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm looking at is essentially my performance ensembles. Our main mission is to perform at the highest level possible. Mm-hmm. And so how do we get there? So the students, obviously they have to learn how to read music. They're getting that in band, standard notation, but they're also learning how to read chord charts, how to improvise, how to play by ear, how to read tablature. So we've got a middle school commercial music ensemble where they start to learn those things. And then in high school, we've got an intermediate ensemble called 76 South that I direct, where they continue learning those skills, just that approach. And then Soundscape is that's our advanced group where they know how to play all of this stuff. They know how to read charts. They know how to communicate with each other, how to collaborate, and we just perform as much as possible. So yeah, it's sort of this. It's structured in a way where anyone who wants to start has a place to learn. Mm-hmm. And as far as you want to go with this, we can take you as far as you want to go. But yeah, it's reading, the ability to read a chart, read a chord chart, analyze a song harmonically. That's super important. So we teach that. Playing by ear, very important. And for some kids, they can read really well, but they've never played by ear. So that is a skill that they have to develop and have to learn. And then stage presence, like how to perform. So those are three sort of things that are extremely important in the curriculum that I've developed, and it just sort of ramps up as they progress through the program.
Okay. So with that, thinking about assessment, because that's, our administrators,
Yeah.
and whether in the public realm or the independent realm like us,
Yeah.
they want to see that data, which data can be a scary word sometimes, but it's really not. But how do you measure student learning in a way that honors creativity while maintaining high standards?
Yeah. Well, one thing that we do is we record a lot, and not just for putting stuff out on Spotify or YouTube, but literally in our rehearsals, we're recording so that we can listen back and get instant feedback. And so I have the students assess themselves. They know if it sounds good or not. And the recordings don't lie. I can sometimes, try to not hurt a kid's feelings, but when they listen back to themselves singing, they're recognizing that they've got some intonation issues, or a drummer that's he's rushing or dragging or both at the same time. So we record and they assess themselves. Obviously I don't know, the assessment thing is such an interesting part of it, because I feel like I'm constantly assessing, constantly giving them feedback. That's part of what we do, whether it's concert band or soundscape. That's our daily bread here. It's that listening and giving feedback, and then fixing that, whatever the issue is, and moving on. I guess some other things that we do. So I do give playing tests. So and again, using the recording technology. So we'll if we're working a really tough song, where I know it's going to take them some time to kind of work it up, I might give a playing test in a week, and they know, like, this is a deadline. I'm gonna have to play this, and it will be recorded, so it's super objective. I used to use smart music, but I don't really use that anymore. So it's really just in the classroom together, collectively, collaboratively. That's the other part of it too. It's we're all on the same team. We all want the same thing. And part of what's essential for my kids is, those three pillars I mentioned earlier in the other episode, the teachability, the kindness, and the love. If those three things are there, then it's a safe place, and we can all be honest with one another. And that's sometimes tough.
Yeah.
Like when you're listening back and you realize, like, there's still some weakness that needs to be worked out, and we can all hear that together. But then what's beautiful is to see the support that they show each other, the love, the kindness, the willingness to, like, hey, let's stay after school and let's work this out, or let's get together on the weekend. That's the thing that's, like, really magical to me.
Cool. So kind of moving from the nuts and bolts of that, what are some common challenges you faced in growing your programs, and what helped you move forward?
Yeah. So, well, one of the things that people ask me is, like, okay, how can you have a commercial music, popular music program that doesn't take away from the traditional ensemble? And this was, quite honestly, like probably the most important question for me to answer at the beginning for myself. Because the goal really was to build our band program. And that was if there was an agenda, that was the agenda. It was to build our band program and to leverage the cool factor that Soundscape had to do that. And so what I had to do was, early on, I had to say, okay, band is the foundation of our program. So if you are in Soundscape, you will be in band, or if you're a singer, you'll be in choir. And that's been tough sometimes for scheduling purposes, for, like, these kids have a lot of things that they have to take in order to graduate, obviously. So what we do is we help them map that out before they even start high school. So if they know they want to be in Soundscape, like, we meet with the guidance counselors and we get creative. We create a roadmap to make that possible. But it's just one of those non-negotiables for us that I think if I had budged on, it could have been tough, because you create a slippery slope where you've got this group that, is like beyond cool. It's like if they're the most popular kids on campus.
Mm-hmm.
And and band is amazing, and our band is loved by our school. It's super cool to be in band now. But it used to not be. It used to not be. It was when I first came on. It was I felt like it was just one of the hardest things to recruit for band, because there was a stigma around being a band nerd, and I thought that was so dumb. Like, I can't believe that's actually a thing, but it was. And so, anyways, I think just being smart with how we leveraged sort of that cool factor, and always prioritizing band as the foundation of our program.
Now, are your commercial ensembles or popular ensembles, are they after school, or are they a class?
They are a class. Yeah.
Okay.
It's so Soundscape is an honors credit. Those students, they have to take private lessons, and they just play a lot of shows, so they get an honors credit.
Mm-hmm.
76 South is our intermediate group, and it's a standard credit. But yeah, they are academic classes. They get a grade.
Great. Yeah, that's really awesome. In your experience, we've talked about you using that cool factor with the students, it help build your program.
Yeah.
How do you gain buy-in from school leaders, parents, or colleagues who may not fully understand the value of popular music education?
So that's an interesting question. So I really, I guess at the very beginning, I think the thing that my administration saw instantly, and they were so supportive, but they saw the joy on the students' faces on that stage. They saw it. They saw the parents reacting in such a positive way. They knew. I didn't have to convince them. They knew, and they were so supportive. The parents knew. They were excited to finally have something in our program that they could all be proud of and they could all be excited about. Early on, I did have, some people that they were used to the old way of things. They were used to, this is a competitive marching band, never mind the fact that there's only 17 of them. And we just don't do things like that. And so there were a few years where it was like, I had to try to win some folks over. Quite honestly, some of those they never got won over, and that's okay. They graduated. It's okay. But eventually, it's such a part of our culture now. The thing that I'm really most interested in at this point is really showing my friends, my educator friends, my colleagues, and even some of our leaders on the state level, the value in popular music education.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest fear that I've heard is, well, I think people are afraid that it's not quote unquote real music education. And I've actually heard that. And I've had some really great conversations where I was able to explain how we do what we do. And usually at the end of those conversations, those people realize, oh, wow, okay, so not only is it real music education, it's actually it's a more holistic music education. Mm-hmm. You're getting all of the things that the band students and the choir students, the orchestra, traditional ensembles are getting, plus you're getting all of this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it's not taking away, it's adding that whole both and idea. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like I need to have more conversations, and other people need to have more conversations like that. Yes, there is a way to do it badly. There's a way where you can absolutely wreck a band program with this. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Be smart with it.
Yeah.
And, if you as the educator prioritize the traditional ensemble, and you and you always put your students first, then I just believe it's going to make things even more amazing than it could be just a traditional program. One last thing too is I had a band director who runs a large band program. He's got 300 kids in his marching band. And he was like, well, why would I want to have a commercial music program in my program? I've already got 300 kids. And I was like, well, I don't know, maybe for you, it's not about recruitment. Maybe for you, it really is about, there are a few kids that are not in your marching band, or maybe they're in your marching band. I don't know. And instead of them having to go pay, I don't know, $12,000 a year to get this after-school for-profit company to teach them how to play popular music, why don't you create an opportunity for them within your program? Because it's about the kids.
Right.
So that's been a thought that I've had a lot recently.
Yeah. So, I mean, in thinking about this, and kind of two questions, just kind of parting shots here. I think we've hit some great points on, I think, for me being kind of new to this game of popular music education, commercial music education, I felt alone for so long. So coming to this conference, APME, and realizing I'm not alone, and listening to people talk about the things we've talked about has helped me move forward, from where I wasn't confident because I was strictly traditional. And then I landed this job that was strictly popular music.
Yeah.
But just to have the confidence. So I think we've talked about some great things to help give those teachers that are on the fence maybe some confidence that first, they're not alone. Second, here's some ways to start. But looking ahead, what excites you most about the future about popular music education?
I think it's the openness now that some of my colleagues and some leaders are having to this concept and this approach, and realizing again that it's not just one or the other, it's a both and it's really all about the kids. And even these conversations about finding the next mega star singer-songwriter that just needed that opportunity, that needed an educator that believed in them or created an opportunity for them so that they would have that platform to discover that talent, that ability. I think that's what's really exciting to me. I mean, honestly, the world is changing so fast with technology and AI and just everything. I think it's going to be super interesting to see what 5-10 years from now looks like. And what I hope is in the future that music education looks like every student that wants to make music is having that opportunity. And it's not just having the opportunity to make a certain type of music, but all kinds of music that just enriches their lives, that speaks to their heart and their soul, and allows them to be better humans because of it. So that's what's exciting to me.
Awesome. That's exciting to me too.
Yeah.
So I thank you so much for the work you're doing and for sharing your insight here. It's clear that popular music education is not just about genre. It's about access, innovation, and honoring student voice. To our listeners, thank you for joining us. Keep tuning in as we continue this journey on Beyond the Stand, where tradition meets transformation, and where every student has a place to belong through music. Thanks for listening to Beyond the Stand. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please follow the show and share it with a fellow educator. You can find episode summaries, resources, and future updates at beyondthestand.com. This podcast is part of my capstone project at Belmont University, and I'm excited to keep learning and sharing along the way. Until next time, keep creating, keep adapting, and keep making music that means something.